You know it's going to help them get some food in their stomach.
Unfortunately, it's only one meal. What are they going to do the rest of the day?
Well, like I said, there's organizations that will do that. Yeah, 3 meals a day.
We'll talk about that. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
So I'm kind of curious as to whether or not the city council voted to do away with our rights under the Constitution, under the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment, using the water meters as a method to find and cause us to come up with more money, but we have no legal recourses against this violation. Under the 4th Amendment, it's supposed to be for security. The 5th Amendment is supposed to be for incrimination, and the 6th Amendment is for a right to witness those who bear witness against us, and also the witness of I can't think of it right now, but you get the general idea.
Okay.
And I tried to use one Sunday, and I used and I couldn't get any of my things to go through the emails to all the districts, because all of them says it does not have a CAPA, CAPTA or something like that. And so anyway, but the bottom line of it is that are we ever going to get to our rights back? The rights to be able to say no. I went through this with the first time for the water meters, and we're supposed to be paying.
All right.
Yeah.
We get it. Okay, thanks, caller. I appreciate it. So, I have to agree with the caller. No on more money for the water. I mean, my water bill went up.
Right. Yeah.
Your water bill went up. Go up. It went up by like $20 or something like that. And that. Okay, what's the answer to that?
Well, your caller out there, it's way off topic, right? Way off topic.
See how popular you are?
And the phones are blowing up, and this is hopefully we focus on homelessness. But
hang on, caller. Get to you in a moment.
The cost of water infrastructure, as you know, California hasn't done anything about water in decades, since you and I were small kids, right?
Right.
So the cost of water infrastructure from cities like Fresno to counties like Fresno County to the state of California is very expensive.
But to say this about the water meters, I believe that was a state law. You had to put them in by a certain time. Is that right? Sacramento had to do it. San Jose.
Everybody in
California.
Well, if you don't have a water meter, John, what do people do with their water? If there's no charge, if it's not based on how much water you use, what do? You water everything every day. You water your neighbors. You water the street. You water the gutter.
Growing up as a kid, I never saw neighbors or anything flooding the streets with water.
That was in your day. Growing up as a kid was similar to my day. Growing up in Selma, people didn't do that because people were responsible. We've lost a lot in our society.
Whoops. I guess that caller was very impatient.
Well, we'd love that caller to call back.
That's all right. You can call back. Hey, don't be too impatient. I was going to put you on the air in just momentarily there. 436-ME-TV, option 11. Do call back. We'll put you on the air. It's a live program today with Steve Brandeau. Back in a moment.
Frigidaire. It means the first electric refrigerator. The first compact electric range. Now, there's the Frigidaire Gallery Range with Symmetry double ovens. It's designed to cook multiple dishes at multiple temperatures, so you can prepare the entire meal at the same time. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Joe is homeless and has lived in the Walmart car park for the past 7 years.
Yeah, it's cheaper when you just get a refill.
Joe is one of tens of thousands of people taking advantage of a little publicised Walmart policy, allowing travellers to pull up in their car parks and stay the night for free.
You know, it can get pretty harsh up here. I've been here, I know. I've had my car, without that, I never would have made it, I'd had to be in a shelter, and I don't like the shelters.
Joe travelled to Arizona for work, but a back injury left him jobless and on the streets. Unable to get Social Security, he's been forced to live out of his car.
A lot of homeless people aren't bad people, they could be normal people. I thought I was halfway normal, you know, before I started living this way.
While Joe has nowhere else to go, makeshift Walmart communities like this one are attracting Americans from all walks of life.
I do a mix in the mornings. My unsweetened cereal.
In another corner of the car park, Nolan Conway is also starting his day at Walmart.
Good morning, I'm good, thank you. I'm a photographer, and I'm doing a little project called Waking Up at Walmart.
This professional photographer is so intrigued by the Walmart phenomenon, he's been documenting its car park communities for the New York Times.
This overnight culture here is for everyone. You know, you have people there out of who are there out of necessity, and you have people there who are just out of convenience, and both of their stories are, you know, equally valid in this.
All right, so Walmart apparently in some parts of the country and some parts of the state, they do allow homeless people to camp overnight, but not in Fresno. I called Walmart, talked to one of the managers and asked him about this topic, and he said basically this. In Fresno, truckers are actually allowed to park their rigs overnight in the parking lot, but the homeless are not entitled. They're not able to camp out overnight in a Walmart parking lot. There are 6 Walmarts in the city of Fresno. They have an agreement with the Chamber of Commerce here in the city of Fresno not to allow those encampments to take place in the parking lot at Walmart. Had they allowed that here in the city of Fresno, I guess there isn't much the council can do about it. I don't know, Steve.
Well, I go to Walmart, and the Walmart that I go to is off of Herndon and Ingram, and it's a great Walmart. And but just about 3 weekends ago, I counted 7 different homeless folks and or panhandlers, because sometimes actually that's a different group. But panhandlers at every exit or entrance, and then 4 or 5 other folks that were camping out on a lawn that was connected at some green space right next to this Walmart. So the Walmart I go to, I see homeless every time I go.
But
And
they're not allowed to camp overnight in that parking lot.
Yeah,
here in Fresno at least.
just like anything else, they're not allowed to, but they do it. So they do it, and they've been getting away with it. So part of my policy is to stop that behavior, to finally recognize that it's illegal. To make it officially illegal, it'd be a misdemeanor.
And you have to wonder if they're not allowed to do it in Fresno at Walmart, but are they going to other parking lots like Save Mart, like maybe Food Max, like maybe some other store like Winco or Costco?
Yeah.
I mean, we have so many stores here in the city of Fresno. Are they camping out overnight there? I don't know.
Well, they camp out sometimes in parking lots. What I found out in the Tower District is they camp out in the alleyways adjacent to Olive Avenue. And so you might not see them right on Olive. I mean, you will, but some of them are camping a half a block away. In North Fresno, many of them camp down on the San Joaquin River bottom, right? Then during the day, they come up and they harass businesses. They harass people. They go out onto the intersections of Blackstone and Herndon, and they beg for money, and a lot of negative behaviors that our citizens are tired of.
This caller's been very patient. I really appreciate it, caller. Go ahead. You're on the air live with Steve Brandeau.
Hi, I'm just, I want to bring up a little bit of homelessness. My wife and I started out homeless. We met 4 years ago, completely homeless. Now we own our own home, and doing great. Homelessness is an epidemic out there. I've never done this before, so I'm a little nervous. Yes, homeless is an epidemic out there. However, changes can be made. But sometimes people need a helping hand. We never asked for anything, and nor did we ever get a helping hand. We ate in homeless shelters and slept in parking lots, unfortunately, at the time, but we were very, very clean people, always cleaned up after ourselves, things like that. Now, they bought the Walmart parking lot. Doesn't that kind of depend on the person's hygiene or the person, how he or she's taking care of the parking lot, the space that it might be sleeping in or whatever? A lot of people don't want to go out there and get jobs, not because they don't want to work. But can you imagine you not having a shower for days on end and stinking, not be able to shave, change your clothes.
Yeah, you know, and I'm glad the caller called and doesn't need to be nervous. We're just regular folks, so I have a lot of empathy, but I'm glad that you have a success story, because it doesn't have to. Not everything has to happen with somebody losing their life or anything like that. So we have access points. This caller mentioned eating at some shelters. Well, we also have shelters where people can take a shower and bathe and get cleaned up and ready to face the world. So we have a lot of people helping folks like this caller. Now, this caller sounded self-motivated, maybe didn't need as much help, but the help is there. The help is available. We've got to give these folks, John, a firm push towards getting the help, rather than just relying on camping out in public spaces, taking advantage of our residents and our businesses.
I will bring up a couple of points that were mentioned in this article in the Fresno Bee, and they talked to Sean Jenkins. He's been a guest on this program a couple of times, and he is from the chairman of the Fresno Madera Continuum of Care. And there are other people that say, look, going to Map Point at the Pavarillo House, they only have 3 beds. So how do if the police round up 50 to 100 people, where are those people supposed to go? And Map Point isn't even open on the weekends, and that's when a lot of these offenses take place. Now, let me put this caller on hold. Hang on, caller. Get to you in a moment, but please be patient. Don't hang up.
Yeah.
So where do you go?
Fantastic segue. Map Point is a great new thing. It's relatively new, less than a couple years old in the city of Fresno. So that your viewers will understand, Map Point is that place to go that a homeless person can go, meet with a caseworker. That person's a professional and can help them navigate. What do you need? Do you need your driver's license? We can help you get your driver's license. Do you need food? Do you need a place to stay? Let's start to work on these things. But they only have
3 beds
for
now.
Honestly, the Fresno Rescue Mission would tell you different. So, yeah, so there's some debate about that, and I don't want to get in the middle of that debate. If there's
limited space, you understand.
If there's limited space, then that means our partners that are providing space are going to have to elevate their game a little bit. And I know and when they're watching you and I talk about this and they hear me say that, they're getting mad. They'll probably get mad at me.
What does that mean,
I need to challenge them. They need to find more space. They need to get more beds. I would agree with that. So what happened during the debate of this ordinance being passed is we had a lot of our providers tell us we need more money, we need more space. And
that was part of the argument, right?
Yeah, right. That's part of the argument against my ordinance, but it's not a valid argument against my ordinance. So I can't sit back and do nothing, John, and wait until we have more space. We need to do both at the same time, right? We need to take care of our streets, but we need to find a way of getting more space for folks.
Okay, so these people need to elevate their game, and also there are people that say, look, these things that you're talking about, destruction of property, urinating, showering in public, these are all against the law anyway, so why put the ordinance in effect?
Well, urinating and defecating is already against the law, but I want you to know that it's happening in Fresno now more than ever. So even 5 years ago when I first became a council member, I never heard of the amount of folks that are just going to the bathroom in public like I hear today. Okay, so something's going, in our society is shifting, changing. Some people, I guess, are now thinking this is okay to do this. But I'm getting tons of complaints from downtown Fresno, all across town, of people doing that. It's already illegal.
You're not the only council member, right, that's getting these complaints? They're all getting it across the board.
It's across the board, and
then why did Esmeralda vote against it? If she's getting the complaints too, what was her argument against the ordinance?
You know, I don't know. You'd have to have her on an interviewer, and so I don't want to speak for my colleague. And she has her reasons, and that's up to her. Okay. But I know I've been contacted by many people in the Tower District, where she represents. Our Tower businesses have been suffering. They want people from all over the city to go down and have a dinner. A week and a half ago, I went to Roger Rocca's to watch a show. That's what they want. They want people coming down to the Tower, but they're getting inundated with these problems.
And she's representing that district.
Yeah, she does. And there's a lot of reasons. She had some good questions. She chose to vote no, but it passed 4-1. And I suspect if the other council members that have been there, it'd have been even stronger.
Yeah, okay. Caller, you've been patient. Go ahead. You're on the air with Steve Brandeau. Caller, go ahead.
Hi, yes. We've been looking at Fresno for the last 2 years. We'd like to make an investment in a house. The area we're looking for is the tower, and here's what we see. We've been looking 2 years. I honestly feel that we'd like to go downtown and have dinner someplace, get some lunch, and we can't because we can't go and get harassed by people that are going through. The other problem we see in the tower area is being able to park in front of our housing on the streets because you have these you have the people that are on homeless walking up and down, and so it's not safe.
Well,
what I would like to see done in Fresno is just like the zoo. You need to invest a tax so that you can hire more police force because the homeless are comfortable where they're at. They're comfortable parking in their cardboard boxes and in their alleyways. So if you have more police force down there where they're making their rounds, they get uncomfortable. It makes it uncomfortable for them to park wherever they are and to be downtown instead of always having someone come up to you and say, hey, you need to move along. You can't stay here. So when you get that fixed, we can go in, we can buy a house that needs a renovation, we can upscale downtown, and we can move in there and feel comfortable.
So let me ask
and
you a
invest
question,
our money.
Caller, can I ask you a question?
As long as you provide us with a safe place.
Caller, can you hear me? Caller? Can you hear me, caller?
Yes.
Okay, has this prevented you from buying a house, the homeless issue?
Yes, it has.
What's that again?
Yes, it has.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that. Thank you. I'm so glad that she called, right? Because this is the type of thing that I hear from people getting very sketchy on what's happening in the city of Fresno. So to that caller, I want you to know, caller, that we are adding officers to our police force. We're up near 800. 2 years ago, we were closer to 700, okay? So we are doing that. As we get more money in our general fund, we're hiring more officers, right?
Right.
So that's changing. This ordinance is also saying that the behaviors that you witnessed as you're considering buying a home in the tower, the behaviors that you're witnessed, we're not going to put up with them anymore.
She says the homeless are too comfortable right now.
We're going to make them
true?
uncomfortable in the sense that they can't do these behaviors. Now, we're not going to stop homelessness, John. This is not, my ordinance is not going to end homelessness, stop homelessness. I'm not naive. But we've got to stop some of these behaviors like this lady experienced.
Well, Don Esks, the CEO of the Fresno Rescue Mission, described the ordinance, your ordinance, this week as being a strong encouragement. It's tough love, according to him. Do you agree?
Yeah. So for people who think, hey, Brandeau, you don't have any compassion for people, I really do at a personal level, but as a council member, I think that this is tough love. And sometimes you have to, people that have had drug abuse in their families, alcohol abuse, you know, after a while you've been enabling for years. Finally, you get to the point you have to say, I have to cut that off. I can't enable my family member anymore. I've got to show some tough love. You have to tell them, you can't stay here, you can't sleep here, I'm not going to give you more money. These types of things, many of us have experienced in our own families, and it's tough love. It is compassionate, and we want these folks to go get the help, excuse me, the help that's available to them.
All right, Steve Brandeau is here, 436-ME-TV, option 11. Weigh in, chime in, back in just a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
It takes a lot for a person to actually ask for a cup of change. For me, that's my downfall. I have pride. I don't ask people for money. But once your stomach start growling, it's like, what can you do? It's either try earn a couple bucks so you could get burger, eat, or starve.
It was because I had my husband to motivate me. I was giving up everything. I was giving up on him too. And I actually told him that I wanted to walk away from him. I want him to leave me alone. Get out of my life, let me just struggle by myself. But he said that everybody goes up and down in life. Maybe this is another road for us.
Life on the streets is lonely. I say lonely because that's how I feel sometimes. After my sister and mother died, I was out there. I felt like I was all alone. I didn't have any friends. My friends were my sister and my mother. Those are my best friends. But when my mother died, I just didn't care. I didn't care what would happen to me.
All right, our good friends over there at CMAC in downtown Fresno. I know Jerry Lee, he's the executive director. I used to work with him at KMPH. He's been on this program a few times before, but CMAC produced this entire documentary on the Fresno homeless. I don't know if you've seen it. We just played a few snippets of it here.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, it's
good work.
Outstanding work by Jerry Lee and the folks over there at CMAC. So thanks for the use of that footage. By the way, we do have a caller standing by. Go ahead. You're on the air with Steve Brandeau. And what's your question? Speak up so we can hear you.
Hi there. I'm just calling to let you know that I'm really happy that everyone is actually looking at what's going on with the homeless people in the Tower District. There are several people out there where my mother lives in the Tower District and she's afraid to take out her garbage can. So I'm glad to see that something is actually going to be done here. And we do call the police. Some of them, they say don't approach them because they're dangerous. That really worries me. So again, thank you so much for actually taking a look and doing something for us.
Well, thank you, caller, for letting me know that. I'm hearing a lot of responses like that, caller. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I'm hearing
the opposite. I'm hearing the opposite. Well, yeah.
You're getting negative press, but
yeah.
everybody else, you're getting positive comments.
A lot of fake news out there. This program is not fake news, right? But there's a lot of people with a big agenda. They think they know better than everybody. They're willing to sacrifice the entire city of Fresno for a relatively small amount of homeless folks that are creating problems, right? And so I don't know what it is, if it's the bleeding heart liberalism, I'm not sure, but I can't just respond to the press. I've got to respond to people.
I want to roll another piece of videotape, and it's got no sound on it here, Kerry, so we'll just talk over it. It's called the Homeless Encampments. We've all seen this video from a few years ago. They were all encamped out there near the Poverillo House, near the Fresno Rescue Mission in southwest Fresno, not too far from Ventura TV here in southeast Fresno. You just cross the tracks. So when Ashley Swearingen was the mayor, these encampments were broken up, illegal, but it caused another problem, and that is that now they're spread out all over the city. Was this the right decision to break up these encampments here in this part of the city?
You know, that's a tough question, right? Because my constituents in Northwest Fresno have paid some of the price for breaking up the encampments, which were downtown. But at one point, to remind your viewers, we had huge encampments downtown with hundreds of people in them, hundreds of tents, and they became the targets of a lot of violent crime, okay? And these folks were getting victimized. Gangs were infiltrating the encampments. Gangs would know the minute a dollar showed up from a check from the government. If somebody got a check for $80, the gang knew when that check showed up, okay? And they were there to lift that money off of those people. So there was a lot of negative things happening. So I think we had to do something about those huge encampments. They were very gross and very detrimental, and a lot of violent crime happening. Now the downside is some of those folks shifted all over town. So the rest of us are having to pay the price for that decision. But I don't think it was a good thing what was happening in downtown Fresno at that point. So
Yeah, that was many years ago, but now you have a much larger problem that's expanded throughout the entire city of Fresno. So now we're at this point in 2017, and you think this ordinance is the step in the right direction?
Well, yeah, and I want to be really
step.
clear.
It's
Yes,
one
thank
step.
you. Right, it's one, and I'll even say it's one small step in the right direction. We have to stop enabling these behaviors. We're not targeting
Is that
people.
what we've been doing? Is
Well, yeah, John. If we're going to spend massive amounts of money on Blackstone, but then 100 yards away we're allowing people to camp and create problems and make massive messes. And this is happening everywhere, but make massive messes. We're enabling that behavior, which turns around and shoots us in the foot when we're trying to improve economically in the city of Fresno. Can I add one other thing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want your viewers to know this, that if you look at where we were at 10 years ago, we've got a lot less homeless people in the city of Fresno than we were at 10 years ago. There is a annual count of the homeless in Fresno. It's called the point in time count.
Right.
Now, if you would have looked 10 years ago, you would have seen we had 4,000 or 5,000 homeless people. Now we're down around 1,700. So
only 4 or 5 years ago we had that?
No, about a decade
About a
ago.
decade
yeah,
ago.
and 4 or 5 years ago we had 2,500, 3,000. So the numbers have gone down. Now, unfortunately, they've trickled back up over last year.
Right. According to Point in Time here, according to that organization which keeps track, they go on the streets and they do these surveys, and it takes like weeks on end to count the people that are homeless. They count in 2017 1,572. A year ago it was 1,319, so it went up a little bit after it had gone down.
Exactly.
So it's going up again.
It's trickling back up. Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah, there's
Does
a lot of
anybody know
reasons.
why?
There's a lot of opinions on why, right? My job is not to, constantly focus on why. My job is to meet the needs, the demands that I'm hearing from the residents of Northwest Fresno and throughout the city. So, honestly, John, and this is the toughest thing that I'll probably say on your program today, I didn't do this ordinance for the 1,700 folks. I did it for 520,000 folks that are tired of it, okay? And so I want the 1,700 people to get help, but I'm actually here to help the 500,000 people. And that's why I've been saying that this small group of people, a segment of the homeless population, about 600, have been holding a city of 500,000 people hostage. And I can't just sit back and do nothing. So this is not going to cure homelessness. Homelessness is not going to help everybody, but it's another tool, another step in the right direction.
Okay, one of the callers today talking about just holding off on buying a house in the Tower District because of the homeless issue. And one of the issues that she mentioned is hiring more police. And that kind of segues into my next segment here. Let's roll the videotape, Carrie. It's called Arrest Number 1. I'm going to take you back to May or early June, actually May of 2016 when Donald Trump showed up. This was downtown Fresno. Right after Donald Trump held a rally here at Selland Arena, the police showed up in full force, full gear. Jerry Dyer, the police chief, was out there. And this is one arrest that you see, but it was pretty calm and pretty peaceful. Jerry Dyer was able to actually, calm the situation down. He kept his cool. Police officers, for the most part, kept their cool. Right now, the police officers have a new 2-year contract. They get a 5% increase across the board. In 2016, they were up to 730 officers. Right now, it's up to 780. So the yearly salary for a veteran is $90,000 a year. $90,000 plus retirement and benefits. Is that enough?
For an officer?
Yeah. Is that enough?
Oh, it depends on who you ask. If you ask the officers,
in your opinion,
is
it enough?
Here's what I would say about that. I want our officers to be paid what they deserve and what's commiserate with what they should be earning compared to other locations. Unfortunately, Fresno, we don't have the income that you see in the Bay Area. We don't have income like the coastal communities. So honestly, they probably should be paid more, but we're just at where we are at. And we were glad to have a new contract with the police officers union. That'll take us through 2 more years, then we'll see what happens then. Hopefully, with Mayor Brand's aggressive economic improvement for the city of Fresno, we'll see.
Hang on, caller.
We'll see some fantastic economic development, such as Ulta, such as Amazon, and other things that are in the way, and hopefully we'll be able to even pay them more in the future. But the good news is we're adding more officers to the streets of Fresno. That's the fantastic news.
Up to 780, or is it going to be 800?
It's going to be over 800. So
830 is the number I heard.
Well, look, the goal is to, the goal is to get to 850. Then the goal will be to get to 900. And eventually, the mayor has been calling for 1,000 officers for the city of Fresno.
Damon Kurtz, who eventually at some point will come on this program, I don't know when, but he is the new president of the Police Officers Association, taking over for Jackie Parks. What is the so under Mayor Swearingen? I don't even hesitate in saying the relationship between the Fresno police officers and the association and the city of Fresno was really chilly.
Yeah.
How is it now?
I think it's better now. And being part of the talks, some of the debate over how much are we going to pay our officers, that all takes part in closed session, and I can't go into that, right?
Okay.
But the truth is, there's a different relationship now with
Why?
Mayor Brent. Well, we have a new mayor,
Okay.
and we have a new head of the union. Okay,
right.
So just different folks, different personalities. Different game plan, different strategies, so we're off on a much better foot than we were under the previous administration.
And I'll get to you in a moment, caller. And also, I guess one of the issues with Fresno Police and those officers on the street, they're getting paid less than officers who work in Clovis and Dinuba, much smaller departments. That has to rub them the wrong way.
Well,
you're talking about morale now on the streets with
yeah,
these officers.
So I think,
how is morale?
I think, in my opinion, I'm just going based on what I hear. I think morale's better. We had got to a point where our officers couldn't even take a day. We had so few officers working the streets that it was hard for an officer to take a day off to go to a wedding, take a day off to go watch a kid play baseball. So I think that's changing. As we add officers, we're helping. That has extended benefits inside of the police department. So I'm trusting that it will continue to improve.
And we'll get to the caller here in just a moment. And Steve, what about the Fresno making less than Clovis and Dinuba? Should that not ever happen?
Well, John, the reality is that the communities are very different, okay? The communities are very different. And sometimes those that has impact, right?
Yeah.
So it all depends on tax base. It all depends on how much is coming into the city coffers.
How you cut the pie.
Fresno faces limitations, right? We all of us in Fresno know, we don't want to go over our negatives, but we know we live in a city that has challenges with poverty and so forth. And so we're addressing these issues, but we can't, just say, we're going to give away the farm over here and not address these other 10 issues.
Gotcha.
We have to do them all evenly. And so I think that's what Mayor Brand is accomplishing.
Hey, let's take this possible last call here on Connect with Me today. Go ahead. You're on with Steve Brandeau.
Oh, yes. I have a story. I own a store on Fresno Street right there next to the fire department. And I hired a homeless fella, and I'm not going to call his name, but, he said he needed work, he wanted to earn money. And he was shaking a sign for my store, like advertising and that type thing. And about a week later, I called him drinking alcohol. And I said, hey, fella, you can't drink no alcohol representing my store. Shaking my sign, wobbling down the street. You might get hit by the bus. Anyway, he continued to shake the sign with the alcohol, poured the alcohol out, and he walked towards the fire department. I went and sat back from my store, and my wife had a thrift store right next door. What he did, he walked in there and got a knife, and he walked into my store and stabbed me in the stomach, and I kicked my leg up, and he hit me in the artery in the back and the bottom of my leg.
Oh, wow.
And I just started bleeding. The fire department came over there. They couldn't stop the bleeding. Paramedics couldn't stop the bleeding. They just said they coded me. They said, he's cold. And I said, oh, that means I think I'm going to die. But anyway, I made it. Anyway, and I started, I hired another fella. And he introduced some of his friends. I ended up taking him to Vacaville, California, to the union I retired from, electrical union, 1245. And out of those 7 people, I helped them get ID and Social Security cards first. I have to say that. But out of the 7 and 1 gal, they went out to Lemoore and they built a 20 meg solar system out there that would power a whole city. But to this very day, 4 of those homeless guys are working, and 2 of them bought homes because they were making $1,200 a week. So it's some good and some bad to it. When that fella stabbed me, I almost lost my life. When I rented the car from Enterprise, rented a car and hauled them out there, and we stopped on the way back in Hayward, and I fed them. But like I say, 3 of them made it out to 7.
Listen, we're
and 2 of them bought homes in the Central District of Fresno right now.
All right. I don't want to get...
And another thing, it's a fella that washes windows on Fresno Street. He's in a wheelchair. He uses a golf club to get up out the wheelchair, and he asks you if you can wash your windows. It's kind of harassment. Some people allow it, and he has a real nice personality.
All right.
He has a pitch in his pocket. He has a PGA card. He was a professional golfer, ranked number 311 in the world.
Okay. Listen, we got to go because we've only got a minute left. So I appreciate you calling in. I'm sorry to cut you off. I just don't want to get cut off. We got to go to network. But thank you for that. Thank you for that. I appreciate it very, very much, caller. I'm sorry I had to cut you off. Quick reaction. We have 30 seconds.
Oh, that was a fantastic final call. And the phones have been blowing up today, right? You've got a lot of people interested. That was a great final call. I feel bad that this guy's helping the homeless, and yet he got injured by one of them, right?
But it didn't deter him.
Didn't deter him, and I would say stay with it. To your viewers, there's lots of great places for people to volunteer and to help the homeless. And I want to see that happen. But again, my job is to make a safe and healthy community for 500,000 people, and that's what I'm trying to accomplish. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Hey, Steve, good to see you.
Yeah.
I hope you come back soon.
I will. Thanks, John.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much. Always appreciate your time and enjoy you being here on the program.
And I like being here.
All right. Steve Brandeau, City Councilman out in District Number 2. We'll see you tomorrow on Connect with Me. Another edition from the showroom floor at Ventura TV in Southeast Fresno. See you tomorrow. Have a great day.
And away we go.
Here's a place that makes you smile. Stick around and stay a while. We're the home of great TV. That's memorable. That's me.
Follow me, sir.
Call them classics, call them the best. Call them favorites, be a guest. Every day there's more to come. Watch and see, there's only one. Me TV.
All you have to do is watch me.
Are you kidding me?
Follow me.
That's memorable. That's me.
That's me.
Me. Giddy up with westerns, we've got the best ones. Superhero, sci-fi, spin, grab the popcorn and stay in. Dramas, mystery, and action, take a look and see what happens. Carol, Andy, Lucy, MASH, timeless comedies full of laughs. Hey, that's me.
That's me.
That's me, Chief.
Yeah, me.
Me, you gotta see. That's memorable, that's me. Me TV.